So let's talking about testing and agile. Those two things we already have a lot of experience with during, and now I can see decades. Because yes, testing is here from the beginning of software development. I'm quite sure that at the beginning it was done test-driven development. So first there was a test, and then there was some development. And I will present what I'm thinking about true role of testers in agile environment. But first, I should probably say, who am I? So, um, I am Lucie Nová, I already said it, and I am IT leader, consultant. I really love Agile, and I'm working in testing and QA environment. I really believe in power of technologies if we are using them right, and I also work as a mentor because, guess I already have some experience. I really love to share those experience. So let's start our talk. Nowadays, we are more than 23 years, I think, from the Agile Manifesto. If I remember well, it was February 2001, when a couple of guys, you saw the names in the first presentation, um, created Agile Manifesto. Why they did it? They did it from the frustration from the development. Nobody wants to do things which don't make sense. And we have to say that sometimes the projects are not successful. I'm afraid that every one of us already was at some projects which didn't create the value promised at the beginning. And from time to time, it looks like that almost every project is somehow, I'm looking for some not vulgar saying, um, not working well. And very often it's because how we are approaching the development of software. So they were thinking how to deal with the obstacles, and they came with those 4 core values and principles you saw in the first presentation. And it was their idea how we can deal with the troubles we have in classic software development done by so-called waterfall. Important thing is that I don't say that waterfall projects are bad thing. They are really great thing if we really know what we are doing. We already have good experience, and we have very well requirements, very well written requirements and analysis. The thing is that very often I see that we have some requirements, we have something called analysis. It's not perfect, and very often at the end the customer is not satisfied with the result of the project. Important thing is that Agile is not Scrum. Very often it's somehow mistaken. Agile is more mindset. This is this approach like, let's not do it the way that we want to have a paper for everything. We want really to have a results, not the process itself. We more value the result and working software. And Scrum is a specific framework, is a process, well-structured process. And this is probably the more common way how we are working in agile teams. Usually we are using one of two basic approaches. We have nothing and we are saying that it's agile because we are a little bit lazy to really follow the structure, or we are trying to use Scrum. And Scrum is also something what is hidden in, for example, safe or less. all those framework, even Nexus, they are working with this, that at the bottom there are Scrum teams following Scrum rules and having Scrum artifacts. But let's face it, more than 20 years from coming with Agile, years after Scrum was presented in our companies, and still we are not using it well. So what is the easiest way of saying that it's not working? We are saying that it's not working. Scrum is not working. Very often it's not that Scrum it's not working, but we are not using it. We somehow made it nice for us, so we do not have all dailies, or we have dailies, but we are not talking what we did. We are talking on what we were working on, not about our results. And if we have a review, we are saying the customers that, or product owners that, yeah, we are working on it, but it's not presentable. So we are somehow ignoring the possibility to have something what we can show. Is there a solution? There is never a solution how to save the world. Scrum is not solution for all our problems. Waterfall is not solution. The only thing is really trying to work and trying to have a results. I will not say you that Agile Scrum will save our lives. It's not true. And also I will not tell it about other frameworks. And when we are talking about Agile Scrum and testing, the question which is there is, are those systems, frameworks, and mindset talking about testers? And you can guess the answer. No. And surprise, wait for it, no. Why they are not talking about the testers? Because from point of Agile, it's really more focused not on the roles and how it's done in specific details. It's focused on having results and really taking care of individuals, taking care of customer, and having working software at the end. And for Scrum, they have this mindset and this way of thinking like there is team. It's not necessary to say exact and specific role, because we are working as a team, and there must be also some possibility to cover each one's backs. You saw it in the presentation, in the first presentation, where Gitte was talking about this T-shape and comp shape. The thing is that sometimes we are looking for supermans and superwomans, because nobody is able to have all the roles and be able to cover all things we need in the team. But on the other hand, if we are able to share the responsibilities with the others, it's usually helping not only how the team is working, but specifically us, how we are dealing with our colleagues, and that we can really help each other. Around testing and testers in Scrum teams is a lot of myth and misunderstanding. I was thinking how to deal with it, and I decided let's look at it from the point of view of those usually mistakes, and talk about it and what it really means, if it's true or not. Because even after those years, when we are trying to adapt some agile mindset, we still are not having it. First myth is that the role of testers is diminished in agile teams, and it's connected with the information I shared before, that Agile is not talking specifically about testers, and Scrum as well. It doesn't mean that role of the tester is diminished. Just there is different point of view to it. And it's not thinking about the tester as somebody who is saving all of us by testing it, but more about role which it's not necessary to be only one or two people. this role can be shared. Very interesting point of view how we are working in the team is that even in our real life, we are able to have more than one role. We are daughters and sons, we are parents, we are friends, we are colleagues, we have many roles. In work, at work, we usually want to have specific role and say, this is mine, and the things around are not mine. I'm not responsible for it. And also, we are not happy if somebody is going to our role and somebody is trying, sometimes trying to help or arrange things for us. So Agile and Scrum is thinking in the way, let's deliver as the team. Please be all responsible for what we are doing. And it's not necessary to have a label on our forehead saying tester. But it doesn't mean that it's diminishing the role of the testers. When I was sharing the invitation to this talk on LinkedIn, I received very interesting question from Honza Stehlík about if I think that there will be no testers in the future. Spoiler alert, there will always be testers. It doesn't mean that it will look like it's looked now, but for sure we will always need testing. If we need testing, there will be somebody who will be taking care of the quality of the product. But the testing can look a little bit different than it's now. I believe that it will be more creative and less manual work, but I'm not saying that there will be only automation. That's not true, because not everything is about automated testing. So Agile and Scrum is not saying that testers are not valuable. It means that we can share the responsibility for doing it. The other myth is that Agile testing is unstructured. Why? There is no reason that it should be unstructured. The thing that we do not have some specific things written, like now we are doing analysis, now we are preparing design, now we are executing, it doesn't mean that it's unstructured. If there is no specific recipe, it doesn't mean that we do not have it. When Pavla was talking about analysis, yeah, it's happening also in Agile. Why not? But the thing is that very often there is not specific, like, document with header and footnotes and those things, but it doesn't mean that there is no analysis. And when we are doing testing, for example, for very specific situation, like there is testing for medical reasons, there must be a lot of documentation and there must be visible and traceability for everything. Is it possible to do it agile way? Yes, but we need to know that in this situation, we really care about documentation, because in this era, without documentation, you are not going anywhere. So you can say bye-bye to any possibility of testing in this environment. It's really very important to have structure. So agile testing, there is no necessity to have it unstructured. It's only about us, how we are taking care of tests in agile environment. Mentioned before, it was mentioned the QA community protest, and Tesena, people from Tesena were at the beginning at this community, and they are still valuable members. Important about this is, if you are not following it, please follow it very soon, because the beautiful thing about meetups which protest is doing is that you can see there are a lot of totally different approaches, but all of those approaches to testing and quality are valid. So if you want to see that world of testing is very colorful, go and follow such a community like a protest to see that there is not only one way of doing things, but there is many ways. And this means also approach to structure and agile testing. Another myth is that testers do not contribute to user stories and product design. What can I say about it? If somebody knows how the product is used, it's tester. Because without knowing how the product is used, there is no testing. So testers really contribute to the stories if the system is really set up that they are part of the team and they are there from the beginning. It was the question here also before, what to do to have really testers available for the whole development. One of the solutions are those agile teams, because there is not way like now we are sitting like 3 and now 5 of us. No, people are still available, they are still contributing, even when there are written user stories and when there is doing product design. So no way that testers are not contributing, they are contributing. From this, I'm a little bit of tired already, because I think that we spent already a lot of time showing that testing is not really only one phase of whole product development. Testers should be there from the beginning. This myth is very similar to the thing that like baby will appear when it's born. 9 months, nobody knew nothing, and now there is a baby. Oh, surprise for the parents. No, the same is with the testing. Testing begins when we are starting even the thinking about the product. Because, for example, very often part of this definition of ready is if testers knows what will be developed and if they have an idea how they want and can to test the results. So testing doesn't begin after development, it's there from the beginning. And it's very important part of the software development. Another thing is that sometimes there is this idea that automation replaces manual testing. For some time, it was beautiful idea for the managers who believe that if we automate everything, we can just get rid of manual testers or testers. The thing is that everyone knows that we cannot do it because if we have automated tests, we need to take care of it. But very important thing is that if our clients are doing things manual way, if they are really human beings there using the system, there must be always some manual testing. Frankly speaking, I don't like the word manual testing very much. I would like to use more like something like classic testing, because this manual looks stupid. It's like natural testing for me, really simulate of using the product, and it must be done. And we can do many things with now artificial intelligence, really many things. That's beautiful thing. But still, if there is at the end somebody who is a human being, there must be also human being working on development and especially simulation of using the product. So no way, no possibility to replace it. And with this one, I have slight problem because I'm really big fan of automation. I believe that it's helping us to move forward quicker and to get rid of repetition. I don't like repeating things which are stupid. Why? It can be machine doing it. But really, there is sometimes the idea that if we are working in agile testing, we can proceed only if we completely automate everything. And this is also very important to understand that if we are going to some goal, it doesn't mean that there is one way. Automation is very useful. I am big fan of it. On the other hand, this is not the only way how to get there. And we see it usually with startups, because when there is a startup, usually they do not have time and capacity to proceed how they would like to do it. So they don't have time for automation because things are change every day. And usually there is only a couple of people, if it's real startup, not those companies who are unsuccessful and pretending that they are still startup even after 10 years trying to be on the market. So if it's real startup, they usually are sleeping at work and trying to do everything themselves without having divided roles, and they do not have time to do everything, how it's say in English, with whistles and bells, with everything. We would say in Czech that it's with ribbon. So yeah, there is no way that Agile is not working without complete automation. Another myth is that testing is only the tester's responsibility. And this one is making me very often very mad, because this is like, no my problem, can say developer. Hell no. Quality of the product is responsibility of the whole team, for sure. And this is something which should be, I don't know, written somewhere in a big letters and really understand it. The quality of the product is responsibility of the whole team. For example, if the tester was not testing something, very often the question when we are asking, if we are doing some post-mortem and we are asking, here was the mistake, here was a bug on the production, why we didn't test it? Very often the answer is that the tester didn't know that it should work like this. And there is another question, why? Why they didn't know that it should work like this? And we can come to the information that there were not good information from the product owner, or there were some changes during the development and nobody told the testers. So it's not testers' fault. It's easy to say that it's testers' fault, that the quality is because testers are still somehow perceived like the quality gateway at the end of the process. But it's not true. The whole team is really responsible for it. And it's really stupid saying that only the last one who had this hot potato is responsible. That's really misunderstanding of the whole responsibility concept in the teams. Testers works in isolation from the developers. I have to say that sometimes it happens and it's not good. And I hope that now those days are not here anymore and people are really working together, because it makes no sense. Yeah, sometimes people are saying, but that there must be some, responsibility, divide responsibility between who is development and who is checking the work. Great, but how many situations you really have like this that we really need it? I wouldn't say that it's much. There is sometimes necessity to divide it, but very often this is done by, for example, that we have really user acceptance testing, which is not done by the team itself, but by the client. So no, testers shouldn't work in isolation from the developers. And frankly speaking, testers now are developers. That's why many people in testing are calling themselves software developer engineer in testing, because they are not only testers, they are really developers. So no isolation, we are working together. Agile means no planning for testing. Great. Sure, I want to see it. No, also testing must be prepared and planned from the beginning, we are thinking about how we will be developing and also how we will be testing. It's not like surprise or waiting when they will be done. No way. We are also preparing for those situations. I think that it was Eisenhower, I don't know quite sure, but he said that it's not so important to follow the plan, but very important is to having planning phase. And it's true, because without spending some mental capacity on planning, we are not really prepared. If the situation can now then develop in another way, that's reality, and we should adapt to it. And that's also the very important thing in the Scrum and Agile itself, that it was developed like not following the plan, which is stupid, but being able to change the plan and revise if we are going the right way. That's the repetition. That's why there are those short iterations. But we are still doing the planning. Testers and testing are obstacles to rapid deployment. That's for sure, it's not said by any tester in this universe. And yes, sometimes we can be pain in the ass, and it's because we don't want to jump into the empty swimming pool. So yeah, sometimes we are saying stop because we know that something is getting wrong, and we want to be sure that we are not testing at production, because not always testing at production is the good way. Documentation is unnecessary in agile testing. Ha ha ha. Yes, of course, I want to see it. No, the thing is that we need to decide what is appropriate level of documentation. Because as I said, there are some areas when we really need to have good documentation. And it's important because we cannot proceed without it. But on the other hand, documentation in normal situations shouldn't be longer than the product itself. But still, documentation is needed. But it's on every team, every product owner, what they decide that it's appropriate amount and detail granularity of documentation. And now we are coming to the last one, and I'm happy that it's online, that you cannot shoot at me or throw the objects, because there must be always a tester. That's also the thing, and I'm recently thinking about it really very hard. If really there must be always specific role of the tester in the team. There is a concept which is saying that testers or QA experts shouldn't be the one who are the only ones who are doing the testing. They should be something like guru or advisor, somebody who is professional, knows how to do it, and is helping the team members proceed with tests. And this is good idea, but in reality, only a couple of companies are able really do it this way. And I think that it's really small amount of companies who are able to do it. Because very often, if there is somebody who has somewhere testing or quality in the name, the natural thing is we will throw everything at this person. So no matter if we decided before that it will be somebody who has a knowledge, who has experience, and who can help everybody to proceed with the testing, no, we will say it's your role and I don't care. I'm here doing new shiny things and I don't care about it. Guess what? There are even the companies who are dividing development, testing, and bug fixing. So they have a specific teams for bug fixing. They are not even dealing with their, how to say it, mistakes. And I see it very often that if even we are saying that the quality is still responsibility of the whole team, that we are not enabled to have it. And there is still somehow this natural division of testing and developers. And last years, I'm playing with the idea because I know that there are companies who don't have specific roles of testers, and they are working. And I'm thinking if this could help with this really implementing thinking of quality into the team mindset. So beautiful idea, but I will tell you for sure, it's my next team or current team, definitely. I want to be on the safe side. So I will always have a tester because, until we will be able to play with those autonomous tests and those things, we will still need somebody who is not only guru, but who will really take responsibility, full responsibility for doing it. So unfortunately, there is one thing which is ideal. What I think that should be here and should be here maybe in the future, maybe near future, but there is the other things. If I want to deliver the product, I will always need somebody who I can really believe that he or she will deliver also the quality of the product. So with this, like schizophrenic thinking, I'm saying thank you for your patience.